Last time on Lawful Stupid. It's time for you to set off, I feel. I will be here. When you find out what Riz has for you, please let me know. It's been some time since I've spoken with him myself.
Alright, let's start this cool backwards walkabout.
You look backwards, and you walk backwards. You guys are walking, and there is an old bridge. It is enough for one of you to go through at a time. You step down, and the board cracks, and your foot falls into it.
In this moment, something very unique happens. To Lucian, from above him materialize these gigantic arms. They are just black like the night sky, but just littered with 1,000 million stars. And I think he just reaches up with his new spectral arm and pulls himself onto the bridge.
All right, and you're walking backwards, and you're getting closer all the time. In this tower, you see it stretching into the clouds. You're face to face with a blue dragonborn. I've been tracking you for some time. Misery sent you. I'm your friend. I don't mean you any harm. I am Riz, servant of Pagoma, child of Pagoma. I've missed you so much. It's so good to see you all.
How do we know you, Blue Rizberry?
We were a team. We fought together.
Yeah, when was this?
Before the blossoming. There is another person in this room.
Cool.
Who the hell?
And you see the back of her head as she faces the fire that is against one wall. Aren't you going to introduce me, Riz? Oh, I'm so sorry. This is my acquaintance, Alaria Foxwood. It's frickin' Alaria Foxwood.
What?
Exciting.
She stands there, and Riz has introduced her.
I have no idea who this person is.
Yep.
Oh, nice to meet you, Laurie. Who's she?
Yes, nice to meet you as well. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I know there's probably some important information you're going over. I'm here for some things as well. I'm Alaria Foxwood, and you are?
Lucian. I mean, Gale. I'm Lucian. I'm Lucian Knight. I'm Lucian Bright.
Lucian Gale Knight. Nice to meet you.
No, Lucian Bright.
Lucian Bright. Nice to meet you.
That's it. Good to meet you too. Hope nothing bad ever happens to you.
Well, have I got a story for you? And you? She looks at William.
You can call me Raven. It's a pleasure.
Oh, very nice. Raven, nice to meet you. And you, madam?
Miss B. A pleasure.
Miss B. And she kind of curtsies to you, almost.
No need.
But then she stares at you a little bit more. She says, "You're not an elf I've seen before."
I'm a Twilight elf.
Okay, I will want to know more about that later. This is new for me.
Just in case you're wondering, Lucian, that's super rude. You're not supposed to do that.
Incredibly rude.
Yeah.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong. Alaria is also an elf.
Yeah, she's an elf.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I feel
And
like
she has no idea what Twilight Elves are.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's perfectly reasonable for her, but for us, that's like we've always known what Twilight Elves are. They're just a kind of people there is in the world.
Yeah,
so for Alaria to be like,
yeah, it's very much like not couth at all to just look at somebody else's physical makeup.
what the fuck are you?
Yep.
Well, let me put it this way. Hey, I'm Alaria Foxwood, not the racist elf. It's just in my experiences, being someone from the bloodline of other elves, I've seen all of the races there are to see, and we have a strong connection some way, but I just don't know that I've ever met a Twilight elf, and this is very interesting, and I'm really interested in learning about you and where you come from in a not hateful and in a very loving way.
Yeah, sure. Riz, how the fuck do you know us? Let's stop beating this dead horse.
Hey, Alaria, we don't want to be rude to you, but we've got some questions for your boy.
Okay. Let me get us some snacks. and he brings some like flat breaded items over to you and passes them around, and then he sits in a large chair, kind of thuds down.
William pulls out his tankard and begins drinking.
Now just 47 games of backgammon and we can start talking. Once we're really comfortable.
You have to beat me in chess 7 times. Then I'm going to read you the name of the wind 12 times. And then maybe I'm ready.
And then you can ask me one question and I may choose not to answer.
If you ask me, when will the 3rd book in the King Killer Chronicles be released?
That's when
I can't answer that.
When it's released,
no
I'll
one
answer your question.
knows that answer.
Y'all be careful. Pat listens to our show now.
I don't think that he does.
All right.
We'll know if he, breaks off hanging out with us on Sundays.
When he adds us when he adds us as friends on Twitter, just so he can unfriend us.
I won't see it. You'll be the only one. All right, let's get into this.
Love to.
Take us away.
Oh, it must have been 600 years ago now, or so.
All right. When you say "or so,"
it's also foggy now.
Give or take a decade.
Yeah, who knows?
A century.
It's a decade or 2. I didn't know if there was more there. There seems to be more questions. Go on.
Who, me? No, I'm good.
No, I'm not that old. That's not possible.
Beatrice, when you came to us, you were already a couple hundred years old, and you've preserved all of you very, very well during your sleep, I presume.
How old am I?
How old were you? Do you think you're 19 or 20, I suppose?
19 years
Plus
old is how old I am.
600 and give or take 2 decades.
1 to 2 decades. I've got 10 years tilde 20 years. That's so we know.
So you're preserved very well.
Riz, you gotta be real. You gotta be really real with me for a second, okay?
Well, 1 second. Go on.
My dad and the people of Taggart, the children, have they been dead for 600 years?
Yes.
I think Lucian just goes a little limp. I think just the gravity of this hits him all at once, and it's a lot.
I'm sorry. I don't know how else to go on about these things, but in all of your cases, there's the world you knew and the world you now exist in. I've had to grapple here alone, mostly with this for a very long time, knowing you existed.
Okay, so I'm trying to establish a timeline now. So when we went to sleep pre-KNG, it was the year of our Lord.
I do have a timeline. I'm going to say, let's just start with a 0 base, because I just don't know.
Okay, I love it. That was year 0. Okay.
Yeah, we'll say that's year 0.
It is currently year of our Lord 600.
And give or take a decade, yeah.
612.
Yeah, I've got a timeline. Give or take 10 to 20 years. That means don't nail me down on a date, motherfucker.
Some stuff gets lost. Stuff gets lost.
The 6E rule says calendars are for the week.
Okay, so we went to sleep in our beds one night in the year 0, and it is now the year 612.
Not in your beds, no. That's where we are entangled in our stories. You see,
is in our beds. Weird.
You are all a part of a team that was very much in charge of and mostly successful in saving the world.
600 years ago, prior to the blossoming.
Yes, but so the events around the blossoming are what I don't have. But you were there. We worked together to stop it. That I know. But
Wait.
And he kind of stares off. And he's just perplexed. He's thinking about something. His eyes are darting back and forth, but he's looking still off and up to the corner of the room. And there's just dead silence for a pretty long time until you like to speak up.
So,
Should have checked the year in the welcome packets. We didn't get those.
I did send a welcome packet to Miss B.
Oh no! The end of the final boss fight takes place in a pocket dimension atop a pile of 1,000 lost welcome packets, and the final boss is just there like, I know everything and you know nothing. Anyway, so prior to enlisting in the K&G, I would have never have heard of the blossoming then, because that was a future event. When I was a kid, when I was a baby.
Yeah, actually, that is very correct.
But I thought that I'd always known what the blossoming was.
I cannot explain that.
And everyone knows it's common knowledge now.
Yes, it seems that the world has gone on and has bounced back, and they know that something had gone amiss. Again, details fuzzy.
Man, this just means so much, though.
I've tried several times to get word to you, and Misery, I'm assuming, is the only one I've had contact with in the past. Well, I don't know.
Yeah, it was like 100 years ago, though.
Yeah, very long time. I did send someone in 20 years ago.
Well, I wasn't born. Well, I guess I was.
To the K&G, but I never got back to me. So the reason why you are here now, yes, it's always gets me sometimes.
That's Breeze, right? Breeze? That's the one you sent back to the K&G 20 years ago?
No, his name was Shrike.
Yeah, he changed it to Breeze.
Shrike. I don't... Nope. I don't know. Shrike is his name. The K&G is a strange thing to us. I think they're searching for the scales. In fact, we know they are searching for the
They've
scales.
got 3 of them.
Yeah.
One of them's
I know.
mine.
And he says,
Slaves.
"Follow me." And he stands up, and he. Yes, go ahead.
I'm sorry. You're saying a lot of things and acting very mystical and wise while not remembering a lot of things on your own. But I definitely have one hard question before I'm just going to follow you around your study or keep or sex dungeon, whatever this is.
Solved it.
How is it that we saved everyone in the blossoming, which, got it. I'm awesome. I understand how that
Seems
happened.
like the kind of thing I would do.
Yeah, that seems like something I would do. But then we lost all of our memories and those didn't come back at all. Seems very interesting that we're missing bits and pieces. Do you want to explain?
When you say saved everyone, I'm assuming you don't know, and I only know a little piece, perhaps more than you, what actually happened.
start there.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's just assume that I don't. I'm not saying I don't remember the blossoming or the battle that
We'll fill in
ensued.
pieces together.
But why don't you just tell me your version of events, and I'll let you know if you're right.
Okay. A long time ago, of course, over 600 years or so, Taggart was a world power, and it sought to overrun the world, presumably. It began small, traveling east toward Balfold, stretching down into West End, and beginning to make its way to eastward countries and cities and towns, but they were limited. They didn't have the magic and perhaps even the smarts that Zalance had to the east. Zalance had a strong presence of dragons in those days and much more magic at their fingertips, and they were building things much faster. Specifically, there was the greater innovations for the next generation, and they were building all of these ways to mass transport airships, boats that could hover just above the water, even travel over sands, chariots that were self-propelled. It was amazing, a time to travel that you'd never seen before. We could travel the bloody seas during a time when normally you would die to even risk it.
So you're saying that all of this wonder is made possible and brought to you by Ginge, or the greater innovations for the next generation. Thank you.
Yes, and we called it Gingivations, and they were just shaping the world as we knew it, and Taggart did not enjoy that. And the world began to change for the worse. They had sent spies in to gather the knowledge about how things were being built, and instead of using it to further their city, which was falling into deep ruin, they instead used it to build massive machines for war. Zalencia, the great Zalance, knew about this, and they used the dragon scales to put a giant bubble over the city, controlling who came in and who went out. Time went on, and battles ensued, and Taggart kept making their way eastward. What we didn't know is they had dug a series of tunnels, railways underneath the ground, that would track all the way over to the southern continent, tucked inside a grouping of mountains where they were not expected. And there they amassed their army, and there they hid from Zalance until the timing was right. And Dr. Brightside he made his way to Zalance, and he found the dragon scales, source of the bubble, and stole it. And he brought those things back to where the army had amassed to the south. And he created this machine. And we had heard from you three what the plans were. Lucian, from Taggart, correct?
Yeah, does that sound anything like the Taggart of my boyhood?
Yes.
Okay.
So it was like just kind of a dirty place to be, yeah. And it was kind of a gross feel. I mean, it was like very dark, shady things happening all the time.
Okay. And so like that's and I remember like so this political tension and like war and shit, like I experienced all of that as a young man.
Yes. And I don't know if you remember it until maybe he's saying these things.
Yeah, I definitely
glimpses are maybe coming back, maybe not for you.
No, I think it's starting to come back a little bit for sure.
And William, using more than the power of swords or weapons and magic, you use the power of words to work your way to any place you needed to go.
Yeah, I remember Taggart now that you talk about it, and their lightning bolts, their 2 lightning bolts on their armor.
And this be Beatrice. We could get you anywhere, and you could do anything without being seen. You're fearless and cunning. And the three of you helped us find out what was going on as we researched with the Immortal Six. And we fought our way, many dying, to the field with the spot where Dr. Brightside is planning his attack. And William, you rushed in bravely. Yes, you. Miss B, you too. And I don't know what happened, but whatever you did, it caused a great wave of energy to blast an area we're in, and every soldier who fought in the land that day was put under the dragon's curse. Into a comatose state, never growing old, never needing food. And I woke up sometime later, and my mother, Pagoma, was there with the Grand Dragon, the creator of the dragons. And he placed me in this tower and told me that I would need to be the savior of the world. But what he didn't tell me is it was actually you who would have to be the saviors of the world. I don't know how you got back. I don't know how long I will have to be here long, but things are falling into place. And the KNG wants the scales. That I know. And Eshi, it's good to see you. And I think that the spirit of Eshi comes out, and she's crying. She's got a tear too that's falling. And
are they made of lava?
No, there's water. She's not made of lava. No, just water. It's like when water hits a grease pan and she's like just sparking. And he says, "It's good to see you too, old friend, though I feel you are much like me, trapped in a place you maybe wish to be free of. No offense, William."
Yeah, none taken.
Now, what are your questions? Anyone questions? Does anyone have any questions?
Yeah, so I guess here's my biggest concern. So you're saying once upon a time,
Good so far.
we all saved the world.
That tracks, yep.
Changed the world. But yes, we saved a lot of people by doing whatever we did.
Right. So here's my thing, is that if somebody wanted to undo that, maybe appear to each of us heroes the day before we were about to go achieve our greatness and save everybody and thwart somebody else's plans, Dr. Brightside's plans. And they said, knock, 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 hey, we exist with a shadowy organization, we're going to spirit you away, nobody will ever know you existed. That would pretty much, like, undo everything that we had done, and then time would have progressed. Is there time travel afoot? Do you know, Riz?
That has not seemed time.
You can usually smell it. Give it a good whiff.
You can smell it. It does smell pretty strong.
All I smell is biscuits.
It smells like it smells like eggs and biscuits. Do you smell eggs and biscuits? Like a little egg McMuffin?
Oh shoot, I do.
Fuck. Guys, it's time travel.
He says no one has been able to handle time travel. No one controls time travel. It does, things pop in from different times, and we've seen that happen. That is the result of the power of the dragon scales used for the wrong thing.
So if it's not time travel, that tells me then whatever we did to help everybody and do a good job We did it while we were part of the KNG, because we would have already all joined the KNG at that point. So
No, the KNG is new in the past, I don't know, 400 years. I was here 200 years, seeing the scales.
600 years ago, in the little town of Taggart,
yes,
the KNG approached me and was like, "Hey, come join." Man, I'm telling you what happened. Quit shaking your head at me.
This can't be. This is not.
And what I'm telling you, William, Ms. B, anything?
Yes, recruited.
Recruited, right? 600 years ago.
At this point, I don't trust my own memories, which I don't like.
Oh, my head hurts so much. So you think you've been around 600 years?
Well, okay. So in the world that when I step out of this tower and I go, "Hey, everybody, what year is it?" They're going to tell me 612. What you were referring to happened in the year 0.
Yes. But you have not.
I don't look like I've aged 612 years.
The KNG was not around when
we went sleepy time. We're sleepers.
You're a sleeper.
You were sleepers at some point.
Yeah, we were in a coma. That's what he said. A magical coma.
Wait, so sleepers can just wake up?
That is what is perplexing.
I mean, we woke up and then our sleeper other friends woke up.
Wait, so where would I have woken up?
You see Riz's body change where he's kind of slumped. He stretches and he yawns. Oh, welcome everyone. It's so good to see you.
Oh, no.
Beatrice? Dashing as well. William? Eshy? You're on fire. Sweet Lucian. It's so good to see you all. And he kind of throws his body to the right and he says, "Riz, why didn't you wake me?" And Riz says, "I don't control that part of you." "Oh yes, of course you don't." Oh,
what?
William drinks the rest of his alcohol.
I must look strange in this haggard old body. I'm Dr. Ryan. It is good to meet you.
Whoa. Dr. Ryan of the KNG, our nerdy little guy?
Not nerdy is a word I would not use to describe myself.
That's weird. That's the word I would have used specifically.
My nerdy little guy, my nerdy little boy with my glasses, my nerdy little science boy.
No, not nerdy or I'm science boy, very intelligent. Yes, I would not.
And little.
The KNG, that's what woke me. I heard Riz trying to explain the KNG to you. KNG is a fairly new entity in terms of how long we and you have been alive. And you were not recruited by them. You were recruited by us. We were working with the Immortal Six when the Dragon's Curse started. You helped us find the things that were going wrong. Armies, gather, explosion. And so at some point, KNG has happened after that.
I was recruited by Agent Sly, was I not?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Was recruited by someone with a terrible name as well.
I do not know.
But I saw them later at the KNG and at orientation. They were there.
Here's what I will tell you. We've been in this tower for some 400-500 years. We woke soon after the Dragon's Curse apparently happened. Uni placed us here. We have limited resources to get information. We can't leave the tower for whatever reason. And so getting word out to you and finding pieces to put the little spidey things he does together has taken a bit of time. We are just lucky you managed to make your way here. Misery was a good find. Thank you.
But I know you, Dr. Ryan. I saw your body at the KNG. We high-fived probably at some point.
That is very strange.
Yeah, it sure is, Dr. Ryan.
Great, so we are on understanding that something strange is afoot.
Something weird is happening here.
When there's something strange in my neighborhood, who am I gonna call?
I don't know.
My mother, you're right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. I don't have one.
Oh, sorry.
Is my dad? It's my dad, okay? Is he alive? No, he died 600 years ago. Cool.
Miss B is going to look at William. William, may I have whatever's in that glass?
Yeah, sure. He drains it again, so it refills halfway or whatever. Yeah, your turn. Have that.
Miss B's gonna drink it. Might I add, she hasn't had an alcoholic drink most of the time on this show.
Lucian is surrounded by cigarette butts as he has been lighting up, chain smoking, and just like lighting off of the other one and just putting it out directly in this guy's shag carpet. I assume it's down with a shag carpet.
Absolutely.
Of course, it's his sex dungeon.
She'll hand it back to William when she's done.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Just putting it out directly into the shag carpet in front of there's like a pile of them.
Okay.
The burnt out area of rug.
Riz, was it in? What was the other person? Dr. Ryan. But apparently
Yes?
we saw some echo of who you are, or some copy of some sort. Here's the problem I have. Do you accept problems?
Go on.
Good. So, here's the problem I have. I've been recruited by KNG, which is a shadowy organization, and I want to topple them. Then I'm talking to Misery, who is a double agent, and so she knows things that I don't know. Supposedly,
She might be a triple.
yeah, she might be a triple agent. So there's a good chance I want to murder her.
No.
Well, then I meet you, and you have less answers than the prior two, raising several more questions, and frankly and foremost, the most offensive one, which is making me doubt myself. So, I'm going to need you to solve some problems here.
Okay.
Because I'm not sure I could take you, but I'm also not against trying either. So I'm going to need you to button up some pretty things that we're missing here, because just your story alone has equated this to you kind of being a bitch, hiding in your little tower while there's a lot of stuff going on out there.
Sounds like they can't leave.
Yeah, that's not my problem. That's a whole lot of... Listen, I'm going to tell you what my papa told me. And his papa told his papa. And his papa told his papa. That's a whole lot of not my fucking problem. Okay?
Your dads were weird.
You want to clear this up at all?
That spans a lot of generations in your family.
Yeah. We meet a lot of fucking idiots.
So, was there a question in there, William?
Do you want to clear this up for me?
I'm trying, but it seems like we've all got a bit of amnesia, as it were. And so I'm in the same boat, and we're paddling very slowly.
But you remember us.
Yes, it seems I'm fortunate to have been alive a lot longer than you. I think the impasse is your memories. The dragon's curse is not very forgiving, and it may affect people differently, but one way that it affects us all for sure, it takes our memories. Yes, Riz, it does. I've been able to gather mine back over what do you say, friends, 400, 500, 600 years? I think it's something like that. Precisely. Which tells me that the fact that you don't remember us and a lot of other details means that you haven't been alive as long. Is that a fair assessment?
It's been about a month and a half since we started work, right, boys?
I remember 19 years of life.
Yeah, facts.
I remember the last 132.
I remember every second. 132.
What makes you more credible than the KNG?
I don't know, other than we spent a lot of time together, all of us, and he looks at all of you, and now where he's kind of had like this uppity, pompous attitude, he kind of brings it down a little bit. I'm not sure how to explain it.
If you spent a lot of time with us, you'd be able to tell us something about ourselves before you were spying on us with your little spiders for the past month and a half.
Yes. One moment. And he goes to a table behind him, and there is a vase with several flowers in it. And he pulls some out, and he says, I remember that you used to bring the most beautiful flowers into the lab. That you grew them yourself, that you tended to them yourself. With Neo. Yes, Neo. And he hands you those roses, and they're pretty fresh. They're lively colors, and he hands them out to you.
She'll hold them and look at them, and she'll try to think, like, back on how much she's talked about Neo with the guys. I was like, has she ever said anything? She'll look at William and Lucian and be like, have I ever spoken much of my husband?
Mm-mm.
Very little.
I know that neither he nor his parents own Haven Bay.
No, he didn't.
That's what I know.
It's a start.
William has become solemn.
I know you, William. It's not in your wheelhouse to be immediately trusting. Never have you been, and you constantly fought us at every turn. That's why it is so pleasant in your unpleasantness. And why we are not offended. I don't know what else to say. I would say trust me, but I get it. I get it.
William ignores Riz and gives Miss B a hug. Like, you know, like at a funeral hug.
She'll hug him back.
I'm so sorry. And then William's just going to sit down and be very quiet now.
You know, our friend here who we've had with us this whole time also comes from a strange time, a different world altogether. And she tells us of a similar arcane magics, things that are strange in her time and place as well. And somehow she stumbled here into our world. And she recognizes the sleepers, but she says that they're different. They have a different power than the creatures in her world. So there's something crazy going on, and I think that it has absolutely everything to do with the dragon scales. One thing we love at Lawful Stupid, among the other things we love at Lawful Stupid, is spreading the word about your business. Or maybe you want to tell your sweet, sweet grandma that you love her for the world to hear. We want to give you that chance. If you're a business and want to get your services on the air, or just want to tell a loved one a personal message, head on over to lawfulstupid.org/message in a bottle. There you can take around 250 words to say what you want. Business ads are $20, personal ads are $10. Tell the world what you have to hear with Lawful Stupid's Message in a Bottle.
Hey, Devin.
Yep.
Checking in real quick. There's a thing among dungeon masters. The spell Lesser Restoration. How do you feel about Lesser Restoration curing amnesia?
Let me look at it.
It's very similar to removing curse on a very key NPC. Welcome to Rolling with the Punches.
Condition can be okay. So a condition, I would agree that it is a condition. To what effect or what extent you do not know. What do you seek to get? Who are you trying to do this on? You trying to do
myself?
It on?
Yeah, himself.
Okay.
You put on your mask before you put on your friend's mask.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I've only got so many spell slots. I think I have literally 2 of them, so I can't get everybody.
All right. Let's play. I want to play this. So tell me what you do. Tell me what it looks like.
So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna in the midst of all this conversation and this just confusion and borderline nonsense, he's gonna take a knee and just say, Nova, if you're there, if you're listening, illuminate what is dark. Show me what I can't see, and I'm going to cast Lesser Restoration on myself.
Let me ask you this for flavor's sake. How many times can you use Lesser Restoration at this moment?
I'm almost certain it's 2. Let me double check. Yes, I have 2 second level slots, and it's a second level spell. So I can do it 2 times a day.
Okay.
So I can do it to myself and one other person right now, and then I can hit because there's here's the trick of it. Technically, right now in this room, there are 6 people. Right? There's Laria Foxwood. Mm-hmm. There's Lucian Bright. There's Beatrix Haven. There's William last name Tell. There's Blue Risberry. There's Dr.
7 then technically, yeah, 7.
No, so that's 6.
Oh, so you're...
I'm counting. I've counted him twice.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Ilaria, us 3, Doctor twice,
and Eshi.
Oh, Eshi, yeah, fuck. So there's 7 of us, right?
Yep.
So there's a lot of people here with a lot of memories. So you put your mask on first. You're right, and then I have to decide. Eshi and the other 2 feel like they would have more memories because they've just been around longer. It feels like where we've been sleeping, but they also seem to remember more. So it's so I'm going to start with me, and then if I glean anything from that, I'll tell you who the number 2 is.
Oh, this is good. Okay. So your blindfold's on?
No, it's been off the whole time we were walking because I wanted to look behind me. So it's just I've had my eyes open the whole time.
I think to use this, would you put it back on so you can focus again?
Sure. I mean, I usually put it back on to recharge key points is mostly the theme there. Whereas my cleric magic I've been considering separate. And this is a cleric spell, so I that's why I think it takes the form of a prayer. Okay.
Here's what I want to do. You put your mask on, and you go down you're trying to concentrate deep down into.
I want to see the memory, so I'm going to close my eyes or blindfold myself.
It's almost like you see yourself diving deeper into your own thoughts and your own soul in a way, and you're getting closer to that bright light that you say, I can see better because I've given myself the darkness.
Right.
And that bright light seems to grow, but then there's a black spot in the middle of it that seems to be growing bigger and bigger, and it's taking over this light, and there's a pulse inside of you, and your head is knocked back, probably so hard that your blindfold kind of flies up onto the top of your head.
Shit, he knocked his socks off.
Yeah. And what you see is, in fact, you were there when the machine was activated. All of these scales, these dragon scales, are floating, each over its own machine, each of its power being drawn to this center area, and you're running. But you're a little behind Eshi and William, as they are far off to your right, and they grab the red scale at the same time and go to pull. And you see off way to your left, Miss B. She shadow dances quickly over to the white scale, and she grabs and she pulls, but it's too late. Someone in the middle hits the button that activates the center machine, and a bright light shoots high into the sky. And then you see this in slow motion, this energy pulse out of the machine, and Eshi is knocked backward into William, but then it's just William who hits the ground. And you see the white scale push through into Miss B, but it's just Miss B who hits the ground. And then it reaches you, and you're knocked out. And then you remember waking up at the K&G.
I think that like maybe a light overtakes me as like I'm seeing these memories like magically, and I just take my blindfold off and I go, guys, we didn't win 600 years ago. We lost.
Miss B's just looking at him.
And I'll convey everything that I saw.
Okay.
In the memory, including William and Eshe and Miss B and that white scale and just everything. And I convey it to Riz and to everybody. So maybe that'll wake something up in them.
Well, you see, I don't have that perspective. I think I knew that's... I did not know that this... So Eshe is part of you, William. Like, quite literally, you are... What if she dies, you die. If you die, well, she dies. And... He says, follow me. And you guys step out onto a balcony that juts out of this tower. And you can see it in the distance. And he says, I've been able to see every one of the scales for many years. The KNG first came to mind when I noticed that I can see the scales as a beacon of light into the sky. Wherever they are, I can see them.
Mm-hmm.
I first started becoming curious when the green and the blue began to come together. And we said something is going on, and memories began to come back about that time. And we knew that something was not right. And recently, the red scale found its way also from very far out, back to, I presume, the KNG. Someone at the KNG is to blame. But we need to get the other two scales before they do. They've already amassed quite a bit of power in those three scales.
I reach out my hand immediately and cast Lesser Restoration, and I'm targeting the soul of Dr. Ryan. And as I do that, I'm going to ask him, do you remember being at the KNG?
Riz's body, kind of like almost in pain, he grips the side of the balcony, and he like lets out like a scream, and a blue flame shoots out of his mouth. I
didn't do that. That's not what the spell does. It doesn't make you.
He kind of drops, and he says, That's not me there, but it's like I can see flashes of the KNG, but I don't know, maybe it's too much for the two of us to be in the same headspace.
But do you think that's you, though? You think that's some version of you? Because if not, if somebody at the KNG is a traitor, if somebody at the KNG is working with the scales, that Dr. Ryan is the one who hangs on to him all day and studies him. And if it's not you, then it's somebody else.
It's almost like as you talk, he has the sudden and fearful realization, and he turns and looks at you all as if you should almost know what he's about to say, and he says, I know who it is. I know who it is. And we are in trouble.
Who is it?
It's Dr. Brightside.
Well, yeah, but there's no Dr. Brightside at the Kane.
No,
yeah, that's the guy who did all this
name.
600 years ago.
Yeah.
Oh, our Dr. Ryan is really Dr. Brightside.
Yes.
My old friend, my old colleague. He's like, he's picking up the pieces now. Whatever you did, he's kind of bringing some of those back.
Mm-hmm. Let it overflow.
We worked,
Galore.
and he's getting angry as he talks now. We worked together to stop the dragon's curse, but he was too hungry for power. We had gotten the scales, and we were so close. I came in late one night because I had a revelation about the scales, how to harness the power together. I came into the lab, and he was doing something with those scales already. And I caught him, and whatever he had done, he had completed it. And he, being bigger than me, he knocked me out, took the scales, and disappeared. But by then, people were already getting sick by masses, and it was growing ever faster, and people just kept going into the sleep. And that's why we met you all. 1, to help figure out where we could find the scales. 2, to figure out maybe what Brightside was doing. To help the Immortal 6. That's what we were doing. And he walks through you guys back into the fireplace room, and he sits down in a chair. I don't know if you follow him or if you chit-chat with one another for a second.
I think can we hold a quick team meeting?
Yep.
Yeah.
How are we feeling? Checking
That
in.
motherfucker has my scale.
Yeah, it's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
There's also other scales out there that we can't let him get.
Mm-hmm.
That's a no bueno. And the rest of the K&G probably doesn't know that he's orchestrating all these things, but yeah, we just can't trust anybody there ever again. So we can never go home.
Well, I already didn't, so that one doesn't hurt me at all.
Yeah, so we can never go home.
No, we can
unless
go
it's
home.
unless it's
Yeah. We
We
just don't trust him
should.
in there. Yeah, facts.
Yes.
They
We
don't
can go
know
home.
we know they know.
Yeah, exactly. We're now quadruple agents.
that's a lot for Lucian to keep up with in terms of lies.
I agree. We can't let them have the next scale. But I do want to point out that he mentioned 3 and then said there were 2 more out there. We're missing one. There's supposed to be 6 total.
Well, I think, and he's going to look over at Miss B.
You've got a scale inside you.
I think Miss B ate it.
How's that possible? You said in your vision that Eshe and William both tried to pick up a scale.
Yeah, at the same time. And when that happened, they bumped into each other. They became like one person. And then the same thing happened on my left. But instead of it being a person and a person, it was you grabbing the white scale. Machine activates. Everything goes crazy lights. Bump into each other. And then there's just no scale. So like...
So, when we look out of the tower, can we see whatever these beacons are, or is it just our friend Blueberry Riz?
Yep, you look out into a beautiful
The
landscape
raspberry place.
that somewhere in the distance you can see just a little light that is Haven Bay lit up.
We can ask him where he's seen the scale.
Oh yeah, where are the other, the 2 scales on your radar? Where are they at?
He kind of rubs his forehead, takes a drink of whatever is there, walks back out, and he kind of peers
Out of
around.
William's mug.
Yeah, he uses Williams. Just like, this was delicious. He tells you that he sees the black scale is the closest, and it's almost directly west of the tower. Yeah, west. I can't tell how far, but he knows that it's to the west. And he tells you, the only city, and you could maybe call it that, a village, a gathering of folks in a large mass is Mapelli. But it may be closer than that. Maybe closer. I don't know. The true tale of magic is where you find things that shouldn't be able to do the things that do, because these scales give it that ability. It's a surge of magic. Magic is allowed in all the world, but in the place where it's concentrated, there's probably some strange things going on. And the other, and he kind of peeks around, he's like, I've sent a few spiders out the way, and I'm almost certain that the other scale in that direction is on Zalance somewhere.
Hey, real quick. And I sure don't want to fuck everything that I touch. But let me just, real quick, just because of the pieces that have been laid out before me, I have this bracer, right?
Are you asking Riz or asking Devin?
No, I'm asking you, Devin.
Okay.
I've got this bracer, right? And it's an Immortal 6 bracer. Who belonged to
Elowan, who was the Immortal 6 for Nova.
Who was Nova's Immortal 6. And Nova was the white dragon.
Presumably.
And Lucian
is a white dragon.
Lucian thinks that there's a white dragon scale inside of Miss B.
Yep.
So if Lucian were to take off his bracer, this connection to Nova and her champion, and put it onto Mrs. B's forearm, would there be any sort of reaction?
She gets an extreme headache. A pounding in her head.
Okay. I take that off immediately.
Don't do that again.
Okay, well, so here's the thing. This is, that seems like, we could test to make sure that this is a reaction to the scale and the artifact if we did it one more time just to make sure.
No.
Okay. I put it back on my wrist.
This is a lot.
It's a lot.
It's the price I pay. And Destiny's calling me. I'm going to take my angry eyes and I go kill Dr. Brightside.
Man, I wish I was a barbarian. Coming out of my rage, and I've been feeling just fine. I gotta go down because I have no hit points.
Gotta kill it all. Started out with a swing. Anyways,
she's and Eloria says, "Well, if you're gonna be going out and about, I would really love for you to maybe escort me back to Riz. What's the name of that town one more time that you were telling me about? You'll have to remind me. The one with the Council of Mages. I'm looking for the really strong magical guy. You said probably can get me back to Goron and to where I want to go. Oh, yes.
Oh, you mean the grandest magus. He lives
You want to go to Valfold. Okay.
I bet they have 12 mages that could make a boat fly.
That's actually what they are known for. Valfold is Old Elvish for 12 men magically flying a boat.
Floating. Gosh.
They're probably dads, too.
And so Riz walks over. He puts his hand on Lucian's shoulder and he says, "Good luck, my son." I'm kidding, that's not true at all.
It'd be nice to have a dad. It'd be nice to have one, for sure.
So what's next? He asked you.
Strategy-wise, I think we have to go get our hands on a scale as soon as absolutely possible. Because until we have control of one of them, that means they could possibly have control of all of them. So as long as we have one, it's like Dragon Balls, right? Like we can hold out. Like we can take one and bring it to the tower, and then it's safe.
Miss B just kind of points at herself. If your theory is right, then I might be one.
Well, I think you've got one in your tummy. You're more than just a scale. You've got like a whole life. You're like there before the scale. What?
We gave her the white scale.
What?
Never mind.
I don't. All right.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Post-pod, we'll talk about it. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You can explain it to me later. With small words, like I'm a boy. So I think that's, well, yeah, but technically, the K&G already has you. Like they got you. They're probably counting you already on their list. It's like, yep, we have the white scale. It's in Miss B's tummy.
Are you guys saying this around Riz at all?
Yeah,
or Dr.
sure, I
Ryan?
don't care. I'm not hiding them.
And so he looks at Miss B, and he's kind of staring intently, eyes and staring around, up and down, kind of around, like her silhouette or outline, and says,
She'll like start like covering just a little bit, like.
"Oh, no! You
The
said,
pervert, we know.
Lucian, you said you saw. Remind me, she and the scale collided,
Yeah.
but you're not sure what happened after that, correct?"
No, I know that her and the scale collided, and then just much in the way that William and Edgy collided, only one person stood up, right? Like, I feel pretty confident that I saw that scale go inside of her.
Oh. And I saw you take your bracelet that belonged to Eloan. Have you seen Eloan?
No, she's super dead.
Well,
No, maybe not. She was when I was a kid. I don't know.
I mean, she was.
That's hard.
She's probably still sleeping, like the sleeper.
Yeah, I think that the only so I don't think there's any Immortal Six walking around, right?
Yes. I mean,
Other
fair
than
point.
Eshy.
Yes.
I know Eshy's in a pin, but I know there's not any of them like going around doing heroic deeds and fighting back monsters. I haven't heard of anybody, and like as part of the church, I feel like that's a thing we would keep track of.
I want you to try something one more time for me.
Okay.
Can you slowly, and Beatrice, work with me here, place
She likes it.
the bracer close to her. But don't go fast.
Only with Miss B's permission.
Slowly.
Tell me what you feel as he advances as the bracer gets closer to you.
Pain, right?
My head's starting to hurt. Yes.
And back away.
I back it away.
It's
He turns
it's
and
fine.
he looks out, and he looks into the night sky, and he says, "You know the thing that people often forget about the dragons, and Riz, you can tell me if I'm wrong, is lights and sound. That's what they were really going for. Lights and sound. We do love a good lullaby. Yes. And I think we can see the light in Miss B like we can out in the world. Like we can see the lights, beacons of hope. And we have not been able to see the white scale. And we'd had some hope that perhaps that would keep K&G from finding it. But what Uni did love was music. And I think that these artifacts interfere with the wavelengths or the sounds. And I think another way you'll be able to find some of these other scales is you'll hear them and they'll react to you.
Devin, if you try to tell me that these are secretly scales as in do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, I will fight you.
I'm not.
He would be super into it. Don't let him lie to you. He'd be horny for it.
I would be very into it.
The headaches are awful. It sounds awful in my head.
It's going to, and I'm sorry about that. There's not much we can do, but at least you'll have the tactical advantage to know where they are. And maybe,
so anytime she comes around to scale, it's gonna get her headache, right? So you're like our dragon radar of pain.
I'm going to be useless when it comes to us getting there.
Well, that's not true. We'll just, if you hurt, we move in that direction.
Yeah. Where you'll be in more pain.
Yeah.
You'll be fine.
Seems like a terrible thing for you to go through.
Pretty miserable, actually. I'll give you all the healing I can.
You tried before, and that didn't work well.
Yeah, but lesser restoration worked great this time. Who knows what will happen next session?
Yeah.
6E, sometimes your spells work, sometimes they don't.
that's a good point.
Mm-hmm.
You never know. I'm surprised anytime a spell does the same thing twice.
Same.
True.
Screw you guys. Hey, everybody. Hey, wait. I think he's talking about.
No.
Yeah, who cares? I think so. What happens is it's a lot. You guys have gained.
Yeah, we're a little stunned right now.
You guys have gained a lot of information. I mean, and William obviously like stricken at news from Beatrice, and then learning all these things, just coming back, a flood of memories is fatiguing. As you sit around, probably mostly in silence, and drink and eat whatever Riz and Dr. Ryan have there for you as the fire crackles next to you.
Miss B is going to go stand near the balcony, Devin, just so you know.
And the camera fades out, and it zooms back across the world, and it zooms back into the KNG. And we go into the school, down through the elevator, through the halls of the KNG, past Misery, as she's taking notes on some things. And we drop even further down to where William has visited before, several floors below the KNG. And we look into the cage of the little girl who has her hair covered. And she's still there. And then we go to the center where the stairs lead even further down where William has not been. And we trail down, and it's darker and darker. More lights are missing from these different hallways that we're going down faster and faster. And the camera slows. And we're looking into a large oval room. And we see a figure in a chair, strapped down, arms strapped down, head drooping. He's massive. It's a Goliath sitting in this chair. He's got on just shorts, and they're torn, and his fingers begin to move. And the guards who are on duty don't realize that it's happening because it's been years since he's been alive. And one eye opens slowly as he looks around the room, and as the guards turn, he closes it again. And then the camera begins to turn away, and we see that on the outside of the glass is some description of kind of who's going on. It says asset KNG-146. Kill upon return of life. And then underneath that it says name. It says Shrike. And that's rolling the episode. Hey everybody, thanks for listening for real this time. Faked you out with that last thing in the 6E, whatever. 6E is sexy. That's going to be the new hashtag we use for Lawful Stupid forever. Anyways, you guys go ahead and take it away. Tell them all the good things about this episode.
Roll for Humanity is pretty cool. Hey, Relief, Forest Fires, they're out there, man. And you gotta plant those trees. So we're gonna roll to help them get some trees out there. Mm-hmm. Oh, it's a 3. It was like a 16. It danced into a 3. So it is a 3 for the Forest Fire Relief.
Good, I like it. What'd you roll?
This is. What'd you roll? What did you roll? Tell me what you rolled. So that I can know, take the comfort, solace in that number, and just wrap myself in that lilac warm blanket. The other people are out there doing that, and I've somehow made a difference.
Thanks, Shane.
Hey, if you want to support the show, you can go to, you can do a lot of things. You can buy stuff at a merch store, you can Patreon, stuff like that, or you can do Dice Envy. You can go to diceenvy.com/Lawful Stupid, and let me tell you, I talked about metal dice last time, but you can get stone dice. So you can literally have the stones to roll your death saves. You can get the Archdruid ones; they look so good. I like that green and like purple vibe they got going on, and I'm into it. Yeah, man, super good. The Archdruid, you should get them.
Hello, our Lawful Stupid fans. You should join the Discord at discord.lawfulstupid.org. Yeah, we got tons of shit to talk about. A lot of shit to talk about. This episode dropped. Please come talk about it, because I don't know what else to do right now.
Come and join our Discord.
We'll be waiting for you.
I miss it so much.
I'll be living in a cardboard box, sitting on a stool, eating saltine crackers in the dark until somebody comes in the Discord to talk to me about this episode.
Yeah. Yep. Or if you join the Patreon, you can talk in the box seats with us about it.
Yeah,
true.
Yep.
That'll be my relief.
I need it. I need it now. So, moving on. Devin, next thing. Happy bit.
This one's going to be super good. Good news story to end on. Quote, Dragon Man, unquote, discovery of largest ever Homo sapien skull may be new species most closely related to modern man. So Dragon Man discovery of largest ever Homo sapien skull may be new species most closely related to modern man. That's pretty sweet. So we're like real life Kristoffs, huh, Dwayne?
You know, when you say Dragon Man, everybody thinks you mean dragon. No. This is the Dragging Man. He literally drags men into these ruins and these burial sites, deforms their bones, and then digs them up as a discovery. So this is just another serial killer, another Ted Bundy, another
Scooby-Dooian villain.
Yeah, another Scooby-Doo villain, another Jeffrey Dahmer. You know, it is what it is. Pretty fucking depressing.
Yeah, I wish that I could save the story with a little bit of an upturn, but the truth is the truth, and the fact is, whoever these dragon men were, it's the same. I don't care to study about the history of the Confederate States, because you lost, and I don't give a shit. You're a loser. You're a fucking loser, and I don't care. You have nothing to teach me because you're a fucking loser. So, Dragonhead Man, you're a fucking loser. Where are you today? Oh, fucking dead. You couldn't survive. You couldn't reproduce, you fucking idiot. You know how easy it is? How easy it is to reproduce? I haven't done it yet, but I'm planning to one day.
But it's easy. Anyone can do it.
It's easy. Anybody can do it. I've almost accidentally done it more than once.
It takes more effort not to.
If you can do it accidentally, it can't be that. Oops, I did it. Oops, I cured cancer. If it was that easy, everybody would do it. But reproduction is exactly that easy, and you failed to do it because you're a fucking loser. You're a fucking loser. Why don't you go wear a fucking gray uniform and fucking
there's
fight
somebody,
for slavery,
a couple out there listening to this right here who's struggling to have children. And you're just like, anybody can do it, nerd. Just do it. Anybody can.
Yep.
And then they're going to have a baby because they just need that motivation.
Being said, I'm talking about from a species standpoint, and as far as the species of humanity is confirmed, you did. Like, as a species, you've already done it. So that's pretty cool.
We can't
the Dragonhead Man as a species did not. They fucked it up. They died more than they fucked, and that's a mistake.
Pluses and minuses.
Pluses and minuses. It's all a spreadsheet. The whole world, all of life, all of creation, one spreadsheet.
What if all of this is just a very long, tedious, boring documentary?
talking about Lawful Stupid?
Like the podcast?
Yeah, just a little bit,
You're so real right now. Like, it's too close to
You just made me live through some real feelings throughout that whole episode, Devin. Like, what do you want? What do you want from me?
I'm not doing great. All of my perceptions of reality have shifted, so. Who's my dad, Devin?
He's dead.
Find out next time on this episode of Happy Stupid. We love you.
We love you. Bye. We have to wave because they can see us.
Every time.
Ooh, I like that little. That's ooh.